in front of Randy, Skip. And I thought Randy had an unbelievable career. Happened to be in the league with a lot of these when these guys were in the league. And so I got an opportunity to see them up close and follow their careers once I left the game. But Randy is the second greatest receiver. T.O. is the second greatest receiver to ever play. Nobody ran with more rage. Nobody played harder on the field than Terrell Owens. Skip, how do you get past? A man tells you, I play hard when I want to. How do you get past that? And Skip, I think once Randy went to New England, it cleaned his image up a lot. Because remember, he laid it down on the Raiders. He laid it down. They traded him for, if I'm not mistaken, a third rounder to New England. 2009, Skip, he had 13 touchdowns, over 1,200 yards. 4 games into the 2010 season, Skip, can you tell the people at home what happened? They traded him.
Tom Brady happened.
No, what happened? No, he got there in 2007. When they traded him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking when he got to New England.
No. In 2009, he had 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns.
Yep.
4 games into the 2010 season, they traded him back to Minnesota. 4 games, a month, they released him.
Yep.
You see, this notion that T.O., a lot of that has to do with Skip Bayless because he nicknamed the man Team Obliterator. But Randy mooned the fans at Green Bay. Everybody forgot about that. All we showed was T.O. doing Sharpies, T.O. dancing on the side with the cheerleaders, T.O. opened his arms on the star in Dallas. But did everybody forget that Randy had some of these same issues?
He did.
That Randy did not play hard all the time, and he said that.
Randy had some off-field issues that Terrell never had.
But that got wiped away. Somehow that got wiped away. That didn't diminish what Randy did on the field because he was unbelievable. But it shouldn't diminish what T.O. did on the field. And I'm afraid that when it came down to voting for this top 100, Skip, they said they used the same guidelines and bylaws as the Hall of Fame. Well, if that's the case, what did the Hall of Fame change when T.O. became available? You can now factor in sidelines and the locker room. For the first time, it made it abundantly clear for years and years and years, you are not to consider what transpired off the field. But the moment this man came up, now you get an opportunity to consider that. This is a joke. It's a joke. T.O. went to Buffalo. Lee Evans was the man. He beat him. T.O. went to Cincinnati. Chad Johnson was the man. He had more catches, more yards. Would have got another 1,000 yards. Would have had another double-digit touchdown season. But he tore his ACL, I think, week 13 or week 14. Skip, this is a joke. It's a joke for him not to be on the all-100 team. Skip, okay, if you don't like him, you don't like him. Okay, everybody's not everybody's cup of tea. But Skip, you can't deny the man's numbers. You can't deny that man's production. And all those coaches and all those media members and all those front office people that sat there and looked at this man's career and watched him on tape to say he's not one of the top 10 receivers to ever play the game is just totally ridiculous.
Okay. I'll buy that premise that Terrell belonged in the top 10. There are 10 that they picked.
Yes.
And yet they tried to honor every era, so there are going to be players that were even before me.
But Skip, I thought we were doing it in the top 100.
Okay,
so
I got
you
it.
played in the 40s?
Trying to honor like I don't know if you remember Crazy Legs Hurts.
I do remember. I don't remember, but I remember that.
It's before my time,
right.
But again, I've seen the grainy video, and he was something for his day.
Don Hudson.
Okay, Don Hudson, Don Maynard. I don't know. Raymond Berry, that's a good one. Or Steve Largent, who I love, but is he better than Terrell? Not in a, you hate me to use the word vacuum, but not in a vacuum. He's not.
Not in the vacuum, not in the hallway, not on the football field, not anywhere.
Okay, I got it. What sticks in my craw is that Michael Irvin isn't in the top 10 either. And he, to me, I'm going to get to my case in just a moment, but to me, I can make a case that he was even more valuable than Jerry Rice was. And you know how I feel about Michael Irvin as the driving force of teams that should have won 5 straight Super Bowls, but did win 3 out of 4.
Right.
But the point is, Michael Irvin is suffering for the same reason, and then some, that Terrell is suffering on misbehavior, because Michael was often out of control off the football field. We know all about that. Michael did get in the Hall of Fame despite all of the above. So when I'm trying to evaluate this, I don't care about team obliteration anymore. I'm just talking about how great were you?
Yes.
And what what then sticks in my craw even deeper is your contention that he was better than Randy Moss. I give you this. There are times Randy just said, I'm out. But when Randy said, I'm in, he was way more in than Terrell ever thought about being, because he is on a whole nother plane above Terrell Owens. I'm going to tell you the knocks. Now, if we're just doing pure football, this is not team obliteration. This is not tearing apart a locker room, whatever. I don't care about that.
Right.
I care about production.
Yes.
And if you look at it, Terrell led the league in drops once,
Right.
and he was top 4 7 times. And I covered him in San Francisco. And trust me on this, he dropped a lot of big passes. The classic game was the big showdown with the Rams in 2001, as the Rams were on their way to the Super Bowl, where they were beaten by Belichick and Brady. And I put it in the order that you like. Belichick and Brady beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. But they had a big showdown at Candlestick Park, and Terrell dropped 4 passes that day that were just crucial, big game-changing passes that he dropped. And look it up, because I was there in the locker room. He sat staring into his locker for 45 straight minutes and would not talk to the media, which was fine with me. But the point was, he was devastated by that. And when the pressure was on, Terrell could be mentally weak. He could come apart. He could crumble psychologically under the biggest game pressure. And I'll never forget that one game, which I attended and covered. It was in Jenny's hometown of Minneapolis, and it was September 28th of 2003.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was billed as Terrell Owens versus Randy Moss.
Even though they weren't going to be on the field at the
Okay,
same
they're
time.
not, but it was
That's-
star-studded.
yes.
These are the two,
Yeah.
you know, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1,
Yes.
2. Who's going to take
Right.
charge?
Yeah.
Randy Moss just took the day over, and it was spectacular. I was left with jaw
Really?
dropped at the end of that one.
Right.
So he got thrown 10 balls by Gus Frerotte, who's not a
Right.
Hall of Famer.
Right.
10 balls, he caught 8 for 172 and 3 touchdowns. Jeff Garcia, with a little help from Tim Rattay, threw 12 balls to Terrell Owens, who caught 5 for 55 and no touchdowns.
Right.
Terrell Owens wound up at the end of the game ranting and raving, marching up and down in front of the coordinator, Greg Knapp, who was sitting weirdly on the bench, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I
And
remember.
It's like classic footage of Terrell's just out of his mind.
Pacing
then
back and forth.
Pacing and pacing and pacing. Then he mounted his soapbox literally in the post-game locker room and campaigned for Jeff Garcia, who had made 3 straight Pro Bowls, to be replaced by the backup Tim Rattay.
Right.
And it was ugly, and it just showed me when it's time to rise and really shine, this guy, Randy Moss, can rise and shine as he did all through 2007 for Tom
Skip,
Brady.
Yeah.
let me, I tweeted this once before. Skip, guys that are big play receivers that look to get their hands on the ball and take off, they drop a lot of passes. If you look at Travis Kelce,
Okay.
look at his drop rate compared to other tight ends, because he's always looking to get the big play.
Okay.
So T.O. is going to give you a lot of drops, but he's always looking to get the big play. Julio is high up there on drops because he's looking to get big plays out of that production.
I just don't remember Randy dropping a lot of key passes. I just don't.
Skip.
When you threw it in his catch vicinity, he's just going to
I look
catch
at
it easily.
It's always been like this. No matter what, look at the quarterbacks. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning was never going to be on the field at the same time.
No.
But it's always Brady versus Manning. And so anytime you get 2 great players, even if they play the opposite position,
Yep.
that's what you're going to get. Reggie and the Eagles faced the Giants, it was Reggie versus LT. Well, neither one was going to block the other guy,
No.
but you just wanted to see who's going to dominate the game.
Correct.
A lot of that, when the receivers skip, it comes down to, okay, the court, Randy had the better day. And it can be frustrating. I remember when I was playing tight ends, the Ben Coases or the Tony Gonzalez, who was in my division. I go to Romo. You better not let that guy show me up.
Romanowski.
Bill Romanowski.
Yeah.
Don't you let that man show me up. I'm not on the field.
Yep.
But I'm looking to do my thing. And T.O. is frustrated like, man, y'all letting that guy show me up. Y'all can't stop him, double him or something. And here I am out here struggling. They doubling me. But y'all won't double him because why? Skip, look, T.O. is never going to be anybody's cup of tea. Yeah, he's emotional. There's some things that happened to him in his life that he hasn't gotten past. But Skip, that man's production.
It was sensational.
Skip,
I give you that.
Skip,
I got it.
There's no way.
I'm with you. He belongs on this list.
Yes.
Which brings me to Michael Irvin. You have no, I covered him all those years. He was the playmaker nickname for a reason.
Yes.
And if I just compare his numbers through his career years,
Right.
91 through 98, versus Jerry Rice's, like this is what I'm big on. Receptions for first downs. Michael had 531 to Jerry's 467, head-to-head over those years.
Right.
Just fourth quarter receiving yards. 1,030 for Michael Irvin, 868 for Jerry Rice. It's just, he was Troy's guy. Like,
Right.
when in doubt, 8 threw it to 88. That's just what, it just kept happening.
Right.
And remember, this was a run-based, Emmitt Smith-driven offense. They ran the football.
Oh, yeah,
so you can't do Michael's big picture yards versus Jerry's because he played in the West Coast.
And the thing, but Skip, if you look at everywhere T.O. went, even if they had a number one receiver there, he took it over. Remember, they let Jerry go because T.O. production came so great, they couldn't keep him. He went to Buffalo. Lee Evans was the number one.
By the way, I'll never forget another game I covered at Kansas City. The Chicago Bears. It was Jerry Rice Day at Candlestick Park. And because the Bears went in with the game plan, we're going to triple team him.
Yeah.
He is not going to show us up. And what Terrell
T.O. caught 20 balls.
20 balls.
It was a record at the time. Brandon Marshall, the receiver, has since broken it 21 against Indy.
Okay, but also, Terrell was blessed. He can't sort of appreciate this, but think about where he got to play. He got to play in Mariucci's West Coast offense with Jeff Garcia. He made 3 Pro Bowls.
Well, he started with Steve Young.
Okay, started with Steve Young. But, I mean, listen, you want to talk about prolific?
Right.
Look at what Jeff Garcia to Terrell did. And Terrell was half the bargain, you know, like he was half the...
And then he went to Andy Reid for a year. That first year in Philly, Skip.
Andy Reid. You see what
West
Andy's
Coast.
doing with Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
And then he got to go to Tony Romo right in the heart of his prime. When they were pass crazy in those years.
Right.
And they're all making Pro Bowls. Donovan